Ben Shapiro, by the way.
Love that.
And
ooh, this one's good.
Nobody doubts that Ben Shapiro is like
a bad
boy. He's boy wonder on the right. He's smart. He's intellectual.
So smart.
He's
so
slick.
brilliant.
Listen to this take by
a
Boy
titan
Genius.
of intellect, a champion.
He's trying to rationalize why feeding low-income kids is bad.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even say it's bad. It's really, this is a great video. Let's watch. Let's take a look at what he has to say. Because he doesn't even say that it's bad. Like which makes it even funnier. He says it's cheap and good, but we still shouldn't do it.
So there's like a whole back and forth that was good. Let me follow this thread here. Ben responded to him too. I sent that one originally.
They're both in there.
I
just started with the video because that's where it started.
I fucking ratioed the shit out of Ben, by the way. I don't know why you didn't put that in.
Oh, you own the Daily Wire now?
I didn't see it.
What?
Now you own the Daily Wire as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Okay, so here's what he said.
Yeah, I'm giving Stephen Carter $100 million actually.
Protect kids from the sick radical left. Shouldn't they also protect kids from hunger? Wouldn't it make sense to strengthen food stamps and have school lunch be free, since some kids are in school lunch debt? Well, I mean, if you are a parent, school lunches are not going to solve the problem of child hunger at any serious level.
Wrong.
If there is a problem of children actually starving, that is a child endangerment scenario in which CPS needs to be called.
Insane. They do that already.
Starvation. The truth is, it does not take that much money to feed a child. I know.
Also wrong.
You should be feeding.
This is like the most out of touch, fucking gifted
piece of shit.
Such a dude.
Yeah, it's just fucking worth $25 million. Like literally, I don't understand. I have children. It's super easy to feed them. Like, how much can a banana cost, Michael? $50? Like that's his
He
moment.
literally said it doesn't cost that much to feed a kid. I have 3 of them. Feeding kids is, if you're not super fucking well off, very expensive.
Dude, you know what's awesome? Also, like on top of that, everything else, like again, net worth $25 million, doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, totally talking out of his ass. I don't have children, even I know that's expensive as shit, right?
Kids are,
but like because he's
expensive.
right wing, no one considers this to be like a faux pas. You know what I mean?
Incredible. He's like, poor kids should die.
Yeah. Now,
poor kids should starve.
A couple
to death.
components I have to touch on here. Okay.
Let me finish the clip.
Okay, finish the clip.
Yeah.
Feeding your child before you feed yourself. If it does not take that much money to feed a child, I know I have 3 of them. You should be feeding your child before you feed yourself. It's that simple.
Yeah,
There's
fine.
a much deeper problem at work than school lunches if kids are legitimately starving.
Okay, not.
Welcome to America, brother. We do have problems.
A fucking idiot. Like, how? How are you the smartest conservative? Okay. Here are some fundamental facts here. I talked about it briefly on my quote retweet as well. There are 9 million children that are food insecure in the United States of America. Fact number 1. Fact number 2, America produces an abundance of food. Okay, we have enough food for not just the United States of America, but pretty much for the rest of the planet. The idea that like someone is dying of hunger in the United States of America is insanely cruel and inhumane. The idea that we have children that are in food insecure households in the United States of America is, again, cruel and insane. It's because agricultural producers, who are heavily subsidized by the federal government, by the way, and it would not exist if it wasn't for central planning in the form of federal subsidies, refuse to give out additional food for free because that would really significantly lower food prices. Okay, so when you're thinking about inflation, when you're thinking about how expensive food is, remember that. Okay, our federal government, your tax dollars are actually helping offset a lot of the costs of food production, which then comes back to your, which comes to your grocery stores, and it's expensive because someone needs to make money along the line.
Reminds me of that scene from Grapes of Wrath where they're burning oranges.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read that book.
Yeah, I did read that book. Steinbeck is great.
Yeah.
Mr. Socialist.
Everybody's starving during the Great Depression, and the farmers have surplus oranges. This, I'm assuming, actually happened. If you put it in the book.
Yeah. Of course
It's
happening right now.
They were trekking to California from cross country, and they would walk across fields of oranges being burned to keep the prices high. They didn't have to give them away to starving people.
Yeah. So it's cruel, it's disgusting, it's capitalism, it's the way of life, baby. So that's number 1. So we have an abundance of food. It's just a logistics problem. It's just because we don't want to lower the price of food too much, right? So that's number 1. Or that's number 2. Number 3, Do you want to know what the most calorically dense food that these food insecure households get? The children in these food insecure households get? School breakfast programs and school lunches. That is precisely the reason why there's a major point of contention here with school lunches. The fact that you have to pay for school lunches, or the fact that you have to work to pay your school lunch debt in the richest nation on earth, is not only laughable, but also, again, insanely fucking cruel. And Ben would know any number of these facts if he gave a shit about what he's talking about, instead of just constantly talking out of his ass about how he doesn't give a fuck about anything and vice signaling,
well,
like I said.
It's interesting that he cares so much about kids. I mean, he cares about kids being what they're taught in school. He cares about the fact that they have a right to be born. He cares so much about kids. But when it comes to like the most basic necessity of taking care of children here who aren't part of his super affluent family outside of his basic nuclear family, he wants them to fucking starve. And the solution is just call CPS.
Yeah, big government, big government. By the way, you know who gets trafficked, dude? Children in the foster care system, but you don't give a shit because those are poor kids. You know what I mean? A lot of times those are black and brown kids. You don't give a shit about that because you don't care about children. Okay, if you did, you would know, like I said, school lunches and school breakfast programs are profoundly important in combating food insecurity in households, food insecurity in children in general, because it's also very important for their development as well. If they don't get enough food, if they're malnourished, they're not going to develop adequately. So
this theory of called CPS is as stupid as saying sell your house when it goes under sea level.
Yeah,
he's saying if you're too poor to feed your child, then we need to put them in foster care. You're talking about millions of kids who are too poor. So you want to set up like FEMA camps full of parentless kids, and then what? We have to feed them
not
there.
Not even parentless, by the way. They have parents. Their parents are working. In a lot of instances, these food insecure households have working parents.
Do we give the camps of foster children food? Do we give them lunches?
Yeah, we can give them lunches once they're in the FEMA camp.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I just got to make sure because I don't know.
It's mind-boggling that Mr. Save the Children, cares about children, Mr. Small Government's solution to an otherwise very effective and not all that costly problem, which you could eliminate by just funding it. Okay, his solution is not to literally do this cheap thing, which is to make sure that there is no such thing as lunch debt, eradicate that, and
just give them food,
children food at schools, which, by the way, is so important. And this is another fact that I have to mention here. It's so important that during COVID, when schools closed, they still kept school lunches. Did you know this? In many states, even though schools were closed, school lunch programs continued. That is how important school lunches are in combating child malnourishment and food insecurity in households in the United States of America, where, once again, I repeat myself, 9 million children are suffering from food insecurity.
Let's take those 9 million kids. Let's put them in a camp.
Yeah, he wants to break down 9 million fucking doors with the government.
And at the same time,
the CPS agents.
At the same time, he goes, the problem with this country is kids without dads. So here's my solution. Let's take the poorest among them and take them away from their dads.
Yeah.
You're not a serious person. You're fucking just an evil bitch, bro. You're an evil bitch. Fuck you. He goes, Ted, actually California senator, right? Big Teddy boy. We love Ted, don't we? Do we love Ted?
He's all right. He's just typical Democrat.
He hates
sucks,
everybody.
whatever.
Well, anyway, he responds. He says, Dear Ben Shapiro, your remarks are dumb. Let's do math. Say a kid should eat 21 meals a week. School lunch should provide 5 of those meals, solving nearly 1/4 of the problem. That's pretty good. Oh, and how about you miss one of your meals 5 days a week and see how you feel? Okay, let me go now to Ben's response where he doubles down. He says, Dear Ted, if you think the key thing standing between kids and starvation is school lunch, that's silly. Have you looked into this at all?
No, this is literally, he is openly stating an incorrect statement. Like, it's so frustrating to me when I see motherfuckers like Ben just so loudly and proudly demonstrate their ignorance on a subject, because it is the exact opposite. Yes, it quite literally is standing between kids and starvation. School lunches are the most calorically dense meal that food insecure households get for their children. Yeah. It is a fucking fact. It is such a well-established fact that, like I said, during COVID, when schools closed, the lunch programs continued. They usually have it during summer as well in order to facilitate additional calorically dense food substitutes. Now, a lot of you will say, well, Hassan, I went to public school in America and the food was dog shit. You mean to tell me that these children, 9 million of them, are possibly eating that food and that is the best type of food that they can get? Yes. Also, that's how fucking dire the situation is in the United States of America.
Right.
Usually like super, it's like pizza and fucking burritos.
Shouts out to Amy Klobuchar for making pizza a vegetable.
That's the, but that's calories.
Shouts out.
If you're starving, calories is calories. Who fucking cares?
Exactly.
We don't have to worry about nutrition when you're starving. Okay.
People cannot comprehend, especially like, listen, we're wealthy people living in the fucking lap of luxury in sunny California, Los Angeles. It is hard for us to comprehend how this shit works.
Listen, I got 2 kids. I know how cheap it is.
No, I'm just saying, like, it blows my mind. Just like read a fucking book, dude. Read a book. Read an article. Read a journal. Read a study. One study. Read one fucking
like
study.
Something that is okay to get wrong. It's not like we're talking about some, fucking sidetrack bullshit. We're talking about children who you basically obsess over not fucking starving. For example, let's see, 17,683 kids were given puberty blockers between 2017 and 2021. That's 4 years. That's not a lot. Versus 9 million kids in America starving.
Yeah, in 2020, 14.8% of households in the United States were food insecure. 14.8% of households.
This man cares about kids, but yet he's obsessed with something that affects less than 18,000 kids over 4 years. Versus
which is an objectively good thing, by the way. It is objectively good. It has led to tremendously positive.
Well, I'll tell you what's like objectively bad: starvation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like you have much larger problems if you're starving if you don't get your food. Yeah, it's like he's not even wrong. Yeah, we are in that situation, and we do have much larger problems, and it's not being made any better by fucking dickheads like you who get paid by like all the billionaire oil barons to ensure that this system of oppression continues.
Who burn the fucking
while
oranges.
You fucking repeat American Enterprise Institute talking points from like 1994. I fucking hate this piece of shit so much.
I can't get over the people think he's smart or interesting. I mean, this tweet, there's 6,500 people who are like, yes, I support American children starving.
He literally doubles down, and 6,597 dickheads like that tweet.
Starving children, yes, please.
I want the CPS to come in and break their fucking doors down and separate them forcibly from their fucking family.
In my gated
how they like it.
Where does Ben live? Is it in L.A.?
No, he lives in Florida. He lives in Florida now.
Oh, did he leave?
He left very publicly. He was going to live in Nashville, but then now he lives in Florida.
This man, can you imagine him? Anyway, he goes, in my gated community in Florida, I have never seen one kid starving, okay? At the private school I go to, their lunches are beautiful, very nice. Nobody's starving there, so I just don't get it. Like, if my neighbor's kids were starving, I'd call CPS because something's wrong. I mean, they're millionaires. Why aren't they feeding their kids? And so I just don't get it, anyway, if poor kids die, who cries?
It really is. He really doesn't get it.
If poor kids die, if a poor kid starves in the forest, does anybody hear it?
It just blows my mind again that this person is not being laughed out of every room, that this person is not being dunked on mercilessly, that this person is not belittled every moment that he lives, and people genuinely think he's like a brilliant guy.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
I mean, dude, I made a false prediction about fucking Russia not invading Ukraine, even though my analysis was sound a year ago, and motherfuckers haven't let that shit go. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro says this as a part of his job. Like, this is his daily rhetoric all the fucking time. Focus on important shit like this, dumbasses.
There's a kid starving in the street. He's panhandling. He's begging for food. He says, Ben Shapiro goes, facts don't care about your feelings, bitch. Spits in his face. The child eagerly eats it, hoping there's calories in it. Fuck you, bitch.
Oh, horrible.
It's so immoral. It's just so cruel.
Yeah, it's actually disgusting. And his wife's a doctor too. Like, my God. His wife's a doctor. My God, man, what happened to the hypocritical oath? More like.
Yeah. Good
I'm
one.
sure I'm not the first one to say that,
All right.
huh?
Yeah.
But it's true.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was real good.
So that's Ben Shapiro.